there'll be plenty of people who will understand what I'm talking about when I suggest that it's been a while since I've played a certain game, and I have definitely appreciated. It's been I started playing Elder Scrolls Online since it came out, and it was a learning curve at first. Learned it pretty decently, but because of how many changes kept coming in and out, it was hard to keep up because I kept wanting to do something. I did it, and then they changed stuff. I tried hanging out with people, and that didn't ever work out. I don't think I've ever really succeeded at hanging out with some people on Elder Scrolls Online. And it's not the game's fault. It's I guess a social portion of it. It's just like if you don't fit in, you don't fit in. But nonetheless, after a good 3 years into it, I started developing character designs or builds, as we'd like to call them, to play the game on your own. And I kept doing that. So anytime I'd get with a group, they're like, your character sucks. That's not entirely true. It doesn't suck. The character design is meant to go into places on your own, so you're not going to die if somebody walks away from you. The whole purpose of what I used to do on Elder Scrolls Online is I'd help people who were like me, who don't get into groups very well, and who wouldn't mind doing even tough content by themselves. And I still have some videos on my YouTube channel, and though they technically could still work, I'd have to do some modifications on them because I haven't been playing for a while. And I've played for, like I said, since the game came out, but here recently life has been kind of hectic, making it hard for me to really get into playing, and it's even harder to play when you don't have internet at the time. Like I said, I've been pretty busy and away from the game. But for those who know my reputation of being able to go into a dungeon and one-shot it, veteran, never die, walk out victoriously with a speed run no death on veteran hard mode for most vanilla dungeons. And vanilla just means original to the game, the base game. That's all that vanilla means. Now, mind you, I have plans of coming back. And when I do, hopefully, I can just plug in and play. I doubt that, but who knows? Knowing me, it doesn't take me long to reconfigure my characters so that they can go back to smiting the evil, no problem. Or one drink at a time if you're a real Undaunted fan. Either way, this is for those of that game. I just wanted to apologize for my absence. It's been tough, but I do have every intention of coming back. And when I do, I hope that when I create the next character, you'll appreciate it like you do all my other ones. Some of the characters, hopefully this time, when I do the videos, I'll be able to put my voice on it. That's always been a problem with me because I want to do that, but then I just never have had the time to dabble into it. I have the equipment, I just haven't hooked any of it up to do that. So I just wing it and went with it. Probably not the best thing for me to have done, especially for you guys who like watching. Now, for most of the community of Elder Scrolls Online, I'm a nobody. But if I've been in your group, you've seen me, and you know what I can do. I can take most dungeons even on the DLC. I'll do DLC Veteran Dungeon. Now, I don't prefer doing Veteran Dungeon on DLC by myself, but I've been known to do a few of them on my own. Most content, and I'm going to suggest that there's probably only like 2 dungeons that require that you have a certain DPS in your group to outpace one very specific mechanic in that dungeon. There's only 2 of them that do that. So in terms of what you can do on a vanilla dungeon, Blackhaven, that one I prefer going in with at least 2 people, because one person can do the damage, and then when they get smited, you have somebody with a natural heal selection of armor and the passives to that armor, and that is your natural healer. They are doing damage nonetheless. They do damage, but their armor sets and their passives are what keep the group alive while the smiting is happening. So when you come back, you can go right back to smiting even faster. So both members of the group should have armor and passives that support that, because that's a pretty interesting situation to be in. Much like that, I've been wanting to talk about roles. So when you're playing by yourself, you can cover all your weak spots, and it's all you. It is all you. No one can tell you how to play that game. And listening to somebody like me tell you some neat little tricks and how to tie in some armor and stuff and weapons and sets and how to manipulate your passives to your benefit, how to structure your spells, your skills and spells and stuff. Sorry. It gets pretty amusing when you look at all the options. You're thinking, well, it's going to take forever. Well, yeah, if you're going to try and test everything. Now, here's the thing. When you're trying to be all roles at all times, because that's what a solo player is, and I'm good at that. Honestly, you don't need all the shinies. You don't need all the buffs in the world. You just need enough to get by. And then the rest is you're picking up off your own weaknesses. So if you have like really relatively low defenses for a veteran dungeon, let's go for City of Ash 2. The City of Ash 2 is notorious for being the toughest when it comes to soloing, aside from Blackhaven. That one's pretty tricky. But let's keep on track. City of Ash 2, when you get to the end boss, Vulcan Scoria, okay, he keeps turning you into stone. He keeps shooting fire at you. He keeps interrupting your heavy attacks. I can just keep on going with the mechanics that keep going on. And to be entirely honest, your ping time, it plays against you as well. So if your internet sucks, well, you're going to have to work with that too if you want to do this. So there's a few things that I just mentioned that make City of Ash 2 really hard to veteran dungeon solo on hard mode. But I've done that. I've done it, so I know it can be done. And I did it so casually on different builds. One of the things that you would want to do is, if you're going to do burst damage, you want to get all of those had a brain fart. The floating, flaming dudes that like to sway a lot and explode on death. Wow, I am having a brain fart. Can't imagine how that feels for people who play out all the time. I used to. No, no. Anyway, I'm sure I'll remember once this video is done. Nonetheless, so you want to group those up, and then you can kill them all at once. So you need a pull, right? You need a pull ability. No, you don't. You don't need a pull ability. What you do, however, need is the ability to kill them. Either one, you can kill them quickly. A lot of players can kill those things quickly. It's on the top of my head. It's right there. It's just not coming out. Ugh. Stop being lazy.
It's not me.
Anyway.
Her a chip. She's bugging for more, and she already has one in her hand. I'm sorry if I just ruined your video.
No, you didn't, honey. It's fine. Anyway. She didn't ruin no freaking video. This video is casual. It's not part of the wisdom series particularly. You can take wisdom from it though. That's cool. Yeah, they're from Oblivion. Golly, why am I not thinking it's right there? Anyway, so with enough DPS, you can kill him relatively quickly. But by that time, he's already trying to either one encase you or stun you or do something about that. So you have to heal a lot, right? Okay. So there are many different angles now that you can take this. One of which, well, technically, I will go through 3. I like to do a lot of crit, and I have a character that can do 70+% crit rating with 70+ crit damage bonus, right? And you think, oh man, dude, that sounds crazy. That's awesome. Yeah, it is, especially when you have like 6,000 or 7,000 plus damage, base damage, right, on your weapon, and you're thinking, wow, geez, well, what's the problem? Well, the problem is you could go for the sword skill line and do heals that way, and then run 3 sets and a bar swap, and you can manage all that if you have a really good internet service, right? So you have no ping, because that ping's gonna kill you if you cannot bar swap on time. Stuns, encases, heavy attack cancels. Like, there's so many things that can go very wrong. And mobilizations, you don't expect them. Okay, so the toughest route, I will let you know, and it technically is most common with the meta players, is you want to run all that crit damage, all that massive base damage with your weapon. You want to run something that allows you to heal off of that damage, so you don't have to waste bar space with your heals. And as long as you're throwing down damage, and now here's a kicker, I love all that damage. I love doing status damage, because with those status damage, you're doing damage over time and not having to worry about what's on the field, whether or not it passes by or not. I also love to run damage over time and the AoE effect. You thinking, oh, well then that means Mystic Orb. No, I don't run Orb. I think it's Mystic Orb. Anyway, don't do the healing thing. Do the damage one, but I don't do that. I do Caltrops, because if you're running, if you're a Necro, then Caltrops is kind of useless. But because you got Avid Boneyard, and that could be very useful. It's got Frost, and Frost is definitely a status effect that's good, especially if it's going to do chilled effect if you're doing Ice Staff. We'll get to that. You don't need an Ice Staff now, but you did back then. And you didn't need the wall. You did need the wall back then, but now you don't. Well, nonetheless, Caltrops, if you have enough push towards, like, say, the charged status effect or the charged trait on your weapon, and you're running a lot of charged like effects on your character, you're going to run status effect very well. And if you're running like something as crazy as 70% crit chance, then you can sack a little bit of it for a charged bonus, because that will really help. So you put down caltrops and it'll double dip. You'll have its main effect, and that's breach. It's major breach, which also used to be a major breach and major fracture. It used to be separate, and now it does major breach, and they kicked off fracture, so it does both. Then, as it ticks, the chances of you clicking the activation of the status effect for physical, which I think it's sundered, could be wrong. I never paid attention to that. I just knew that if I threw caltrops down and I had a lot enough status effect chance, I was going to kick up the minor breach, which again does both. So I had all that, and my pen. This is the big kicker. People think pen is not as necessary if you're doing crit, which is fine, because if you're doing a crit, then the pen's not as necessary, because some of the defenses are being penetrated just because you're doing crit, which is true, or at least it is true for me. But I try to keep my pen at a base of, I like 9,000. I love 9,000, and usually it is over 9,000. No pun intended. But sometimes if I am a necro, I keep it at like 7-something thousand, because when you use Avid Boneyard or something of that area, you'll kick up the bonus, passive bonus. So you'll be up at like 9,000, over 9,000 to 10,000. So when major and minor kick in, it'll be roughly around the 18.6k pen for everything you attack, if you're doing it right. And so all that 70% crit rating, all that 70+% damage bonus, and then that 7k damage, base damage for your weapon is going straight through, and it is doing a severe amount of damage. And we all like that, right? That's what it's about, right there. And I got this humiliating comment on one of my videos. That's good if you're going on overland. But, I'm like, yeah, it's good for anything. I mean, you got those stats going on, you're good. You just need 3 AoE, ground AoEs, and use them good, use them really well, because you need a snare or an immobilization. You need status effects as long as much as you can, and you need output damage that is buffed on your end or debuffed on their end. So like minor vulnerability, you can do that. That comes from Avid. Now it does. Sometimes I run caltrops with Avid only because I can use additional coverage for that. It's no big deal. But the minor vulnerability is useful. The breaches are useful. The damaged booms are useful. Now that you can mix and match your class skill lines, it's a lot easier to do. But I have a character that has minuscule stuff going on, but when groups happen, it does 60k per second, no problem, because it pulls everything in and it goes boom, 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 boom. No need to worry about it now. They're all dead. But as a as a normal character, I love the one I have that has close to that, and it primary is, or used to primary as a Nightblade, but no longer, because of the mix and match of skill lines. It does dip quite heavily, and where crit and crit bonuses are found, but as well as all status effects are found. And it took me a little bit to figure that out, but I got there, and I love it. And I don't think I've actually ever posted it I messed it up. Beware, you might go face plant. Anyway, you didn't. Nonetheless, back to what I was saying. Let's say you are doing all this damage. You are getting a whole bunch of health back. You're probably doing it with the Mythic, not Oaken Soul. But you can do Oaken Soul if you want to. And then just throw on a heal over time that you can trust. There's different varieties. But for one reason, it's called, man, having a brain fart. But anyway, so it allows you to heal off the damage that you do, and it also gives you, I think, a damage bonus. It's been a while since I've seen it. Anyway, so you can use that ring and not have to worry about a back bar weapon, you know what helps brain farts? I'll tell you. Actually being in the game while you're talking about the game, because then you can just show people. Anyway, I'll get there. I'll get back to it, and when I do, I'll show you guys around and show you how I think. Like it's right there, just not coming out. Arena weapons are used primarily when you're not using a Mythic. So you have 3 sets. You have your arena, your 2 main, and then you have your arena. So you have a special weapon. Now, granted, you can have your Mythic and just back bar or primary bar your arena. It depends on your build. Then you could have Oaken Soul, which you have 2 main sets, or you have an arena set with 1 main set and then some offset bonuses that you keep getting there. I have plenty of options, and I'd love to go over them with you. But right now, I'm just making this video to let you know I'm getting to it. I'm just going through a rough time, trying to get stuff done. Come here, honey bun. Come here. Yeah. You want to say hello? Waiting on Dad's cooking, huh? Yeah, my wife, she likes to take 1,000 years to do something. Right here's a fan. We're actually missing him over, but he's sleeping in his bassinet. His crib.
It's in the crib.
Crib. It's his crib.
And we don't want to wake him.
No.
What?
Do you like awkward silences? Does it ever feel like
No infomercials?
Does it ever feel like the world is giving you awkward silences and taking from your brain capacity, making you have brain farts? Does it ever feel like the world is against you, staring at you, watching your every move, wondering just when you're going to give up? Well, don't give up. Don't give up. You get back on your feet. You go back at it. You show to the world. You don't care.
Shove an infected toe in their mouths.
That sounds odd. Speaking of which, I do have a funny statement when it comes to playing the game. I was playing in a group of people, and we were having issues with the boss, and I was like just neglecting the boss. I was killing the minions, if you will, and the boss like just like does can't say it, does a nice little uppercut with his sword, and I go flying. I didn't take no damage whatsoever. People were like, "Dude, bro, you're like really stiff there," and like I was all three. Like that's what being all three is like. You can take a hit, but you can also dish it and heal from it. And yes, honey. And I turn back towards this enemy, and I say, "Why don't you go back? Go."
Watch your grandma's cook show or something and leave me alone.
Yeah, I said, "Go watch your grandmother's cook show and leave me alone." And everybody just starts busting out laughing, and I was like, "I got plenty more where that came from. Trust me, I got a whole reservoir of things to say." Minutes later, I say something else, and it goes along the lines of that. You were copying your dad there for a second.
Was I in this game?
Yeah, you were there. You were there.
Lying on the ground dead like a sack of potatoes?
No, but you weren't really doing anything. You were in a distance.
Healer? Probably?
Yeah.
My healer character?
I think so.
More likely than not.
Yeah. I mean, either that, you know. Yes, you were the healer because we had a group of 4 and we didn't have to wait wait times. So we went with it. The following time you were the DPS with me because I was doing all the DPS and you were just like killing the things here and there. Yeah.
I was being a supportive DPS, not a main DPS.
Right. Her characters are kind of new, and she doesn't pick up the strats all that easily, so she's
still a learning process.
It's definitely a learning process.
Better than like 3 years ago when I first picked up the controller with the game.
Right.
Give me that kind of credit. It is better than 3 years ago.
Yeah, you didn't just stand still and stupid and just take it like a champ and die and be like, "What happened?" Oh, I don't know. I just like stood and stupid and just like went with it, I guess.
Died like a sack of potatoes.
I don't know what hit me.
Now I actually pay attention a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Improvement, at least a little bit.
One stone at a time. Anyway, go. Ah! You were hooked on me, not Bonix, that's for sure.
I didn't know I was hooked on you.
Oh. Well, I mean, we are married with kids. I'm sure there's plenty of room to understand that, yes, you are hooked on me. Anyway, God bless.